artificial intelligence and the church. Can they coexist? Should they or not? This week on Happy Hour. Welcome back to Happy Hour, our podcast for young adults here at the Cathedral of the Most Sacred Heart of Jesus. I'm Rick.
And I'm Holly.
And we're going to talk AI.
Oh, yeah.
Now, we did this once. We did have a conversation about AI. Actually, I believe we had two conversations.
I think we've had two
Right.
so far.
Yeah. But it's such a big topic that I think we need to delve into it some more.
Absolutely.
Especially in light of a lot of things that have been happening recently, conversations that are being had, legislation that's trying to get passed. There's a lot of different things happening in the world of artificial intelligence, which I couldn't say earlier.
Right.
I tried to say artificial intelligence. It just came out ARTL.
ARTL, yeah.
ARTL for short.
As we were doing our intro.
The intro.
ARTL.
ARTL. I like that.
Artificial intelligence, AI.
That must be the short version.
The short,
Yeah.
truncated.
The truncated.
Yeah.
Oh, that's perfect. So when we spoke about this before, this was probably about a year ago, to be honest, or maybe a little less than a year ago, but it wasn't. It was right around this time because the boom in artificial intelligence really kind of started at the beginning of last year / the end of the year before. It's like 2022 in the fall. It really started to get legs and go a little bit nuts. But about a year ago is when some interesting things happened, such as creating video with artificial intelligence. There's a famous video of artificial intelligence of Will Smith eating spaghetti.
Oh my goodness.
So he had posted a video of him. There was a, I don't know if so much a meme, but it was different videos of him eating spaghetti in different contexts, right? Well, the artificial intelligence tried to regenerate that through AI, and it's hilarious and ridiculous, and it's funny, and I mean, obviously, it's very clear it's not real. Lots of mistakes, but a year later, the people behind ChatGPT are launching a new video rendering service made entirely of AI, and it is unbelievable. And at first glance, you would never know it's anything but real video.
That's terrifying, a little bit.
Like for real, you would never know.
So they just create, like, it just generates videos?
Yes.
So you could
put in a prompt.
I just see a lot of scams coming in the future with that.
Yeah, it can be a little intimidating, scary, all the things. It was very impressive video. So they show lots of different videos that they created using prompts. One like a Martian, not a Martian, but somebody on Mars, and then it was a woman walking in a like New York City almost. And so tons of lights, tons of buildings, lots of shadows, like all the things that is crazy to have as a generated video and not a real thing. But now, right now though, if you look close enough, you'll find some things that you can be like, oh, okay. But honest to goodness, at first glance, you'll never catch them. And if it was just something somebody posted on social media, you wouldn't even think twice. You'd think, oh, it's a nice video. That's a nice drone shot. That's a nice shot of somebody walking down the street in a busy city. Yeah.
I see a lot of also companies, I foresee them using that as a form of advertisement. Like they don't even have to hire people.
Correct.
They would just make a ton of money off that.
Yeah. There was an example given of this shot that was a storefront, and in it had something like, 50 TVs of all generations kind of standing on top of each other and making a wall of it and showing different things on all the different TVs. It looked really cool. It looked like if you passed by this shop, you should stop in because it just looked really cool. It was all artificial intelligence. And the beauty of that is that cost nothing to make. Whereas if it was a real shot that you were doing, it'd be so expensive. I mean, you'd have to find all these TVs that have to be working, it's just a lot of different pieces there. So there's some definite benefits of being able to do that, especially what you're talking about, really promotions. You wouldn't have to pay people to go film stuff. Right.
Oh my goodness, will people start losing jobs over this?
That's always the question. I don't think so much. I think people who use AI will will take those jobs rather than, so designers who use AI will probably have a leg up on designers who don't.
Right.
So that's more so what the experts say, and it's interesting because they did a study, and I forget it, but I'm sure we could search it at some point. They did a study like in the 50s of jobs, like 50 jobs in America, the 50 top jobs or whatever. And when robotics kind of got involved into everything and started, manufacturing and all this, of course, this same question came up.
The robots will take over.
Right?
Yeah.
Taking all the jobs. They're taking all the jobs, right? I mean, you think about it right now, a lot of that manufacturing work is robotics, right? It just is, where it used to be people. But here's the thing. They recently redid the same study of those 50 jobs. Of those 50 jobs, there was only one that was taken away.
Which one? Do you remember?
I forget, and it's not even a job anymore.
Oh.
It's not done by robotics. It's not done by humans. It's not a
even.
job. It's just not even in existence anymore.
Wow.
So that's pretty interesting. I think the point is and like computers. Computers came out. Everybody thought, everybody's job's going to be taken. Not so much. Now we all use computers.
Right.
And this is in that same vein. We'll all be using AI. Whether you realize it or not, you're probably already using AI.
Yeah.
If you have a home assistant in your home, that's artificial intelligence.
Like Alexa or Echo.
Yep. Google, all the things, right? So the thing is, everybody has this conversation about we need to start preparing for AI to get here. Well, that's wrong. It's already been here. It's only growing more rapidly.
Right.
There is legislation trying to be passed, trying to put some framework around how to, allow AI to roll out in a safe way.
Right.
Because right now, I've heard of people who have generated voices. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So you can make anybody's voice. And if you have a copy of somebody's voice, you can absolutely.
Ours would be the easiest because we're
oh my gosh,
podcasting.
Yeah. We're done.
We're done for.
It's over.
So don't call anyone anymore.
Exactly.
Because I can't hear you.
But I have actually heard of parents getting a phone call from their child saying that they're in trouble or they're in danger, and it never was their child. And so there's a lot of these pieces that, of course, we have to have some boundaries and put up. But what about when it comes to artificial intelligence in the church too? Mm-hmm. Where is the line? When we speak of truth, we know that Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. And does artificial intelligence stand in that way?
That's a good question. I mean, my first thought was that, like, are priests going to give homilies with AI help? Or I don't know. I've heard some discussion about it, and I don't know. I think we looked it up maybe in our first one, and we looked up something about, the gospel or about the Catholic Church. And I think it was accurate. Mm-hmm. So we're like, okay, can stand behind these facts. But what's inspired by the Holy Spirit versus AI is very important, because AI is not going to know what the congregation needs, right?
Right.
The priests can pray about it, and it's up to them not to rely on that source for that purpose.
Exactly.
I would say.
Yeah. No, I think that's very good. Using AI should be like using any other tool. Mm-hmm. It doesn't replace the person. It's just a tool to use. So whether a priest is looking up facts on the internet or using a book,
right,
or using AI, the person should still be in control and not be controlled by the device. Right. And I think that's the point. There's a really good, I don't think we had this on the last time we spoke about it because it's a little more recent, but there's a new AI called Magisterium AI.
Oh, what is that?
Yeah. So I'm showing Holly right now just so she can see it, but it is absolutely a artificial intelligence about the church and documents and encyclicals and teachings.
Crazy.
And so we'll give you an example here. If we were to, let's just say, we'll give it a prompt. What does the church teach about the death penalty? Okay. So what we'll do is we'll just plug that into Magisterium AI, and we'll let it search all the documents in church history that have been uploaded and scanned. And it comes back and says the Catholic Church teaches that the death penalty is inadmissible because it is an attack on the inviolable and dignity of the person. This teaching is based on the understanding that the dignity of the person is not lost even after the commission of very serious crimes, and that more effective systems of detention have been developed to ensure the protection of citizens without definitively depriving the guilty of the possibility of redemption. Now, and it goes on, as you can see, there's a lot more to read about that. But then at the bottom, it gives the references.
Oh, that's good.
So the first reference was, there was a new revision of number 2267 of the Catechism of the Catholic Church on the death penalty. And it was in August of 2018. Then there's the Compendium of the Social Doctrine. Then the next one is the letter to the bishops regarding the new revision, right? Then Forming Consciences for Faithful Citizenship. And there was one to the delegation of the International Commission Against the Death Penalty in December 2018. So it gives those references, but here's the great thing too. I can actually click on these references. So if I click on one, it actually takes me to the article or downloads it for me.
Oh, that's awesome.
How great is that? Like right there. It pulled up that complete article on Forming Consciences for Faithful Citizenship.
That is going to be the new,
And I can share it. I can share that
Catholics.
answer, feedback, copy the answer right from there. And and then it gives you related questions.
Do you know like who developed that one? Which company?
I forget.
Person?
It was, oh my goodness.
We'll look it up.
It was actually my son who told me about it when he was at Marian.
So maybe the colleges have started
something. It was definitely somebody that had this idea who is Catholic and has gone through.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Like it's like catechism on steroids.
Yes, exactly.
But it's a very accessible version for people that don't have a catechism.
Yep.
And it's very hard. Like even me looking up the catechism online, sometimes it's hard to find like, okay, like how do I even look this up? Or like the exact thing I want to ask. And sometimes it doesn't bring up the right thing or it's hard to find the paragraph. But sometimes you can get it. But otherwise, like that is fantastic for people questioning the faith.
Mm-hmm.
If you have questions about the faith, that's amazing.
Yeah. And I understand the importance of working for an answer as well, right? Because there is something in that, having to really scratch for it and claw it out, and it really becomes yours.
Yes.
But also at the same time, it is nice to have answers to questions. In fact, Scripture tells us that we should have a reason for believing, that we should have a reason for our joy, not that you have to scratch it out all the time.
Right.
So when people have questions, we want to help get answers for them, or at least do the best that we can. And this is a really good tool for that, right? I mean, you even said it like, and I don't always have a catechism on hand, but how about encyclicals that you don't even know exist?
That's amazing too. Yeah, I wouldn't be looking up those things because I don't know.
Ever.
I don't know what I don't know.
Right.
But then you now can know.
Yes.
So that's amazing.
And again,
amazing resource.
I get it about like, okay, well, you should really do more research on your own and really get in there. And yes, I agree. I've learned so much by doing that myself, but there are also many other times where I don't have the time for that. Mm-hmm. And I need access to actual answers.
Saves time,
yeah,
energy.
Yeah.
Also, all the Catholic university students right now are quaking because they can use these for all their research papers. Speaking of that, but too, like research and like that, I mean, that is a great way to, formulate your own research paper, get facts that are valid from credible quality sources.
Yeah.
I'm doing a research paper right now, not Catholicized, but it's a practice-based research and review. So it's a PBRR. So it's not a master's thesis. It's kind of like a different one that I have to do.
Mm-hmm.
And like when you were saying like scratching your way and clawing your way to get those answers, there is a reward to that.
Yes, there is.
Our professor allowed us to use AI. So there's been some policies at the university, given, the current state of affairs with AI.
Same at Notre Dame. Just
really?
So you know. Yep.
And I don't know if that, like, he was saying, because we were just doing this paper, now it's the provost office released like a message about it. And now in our research paper, if we use AI, it says that it's either, I think, open, moderate, or strict. Like there's like these 3 categories. And we are allowed to do the moderate category of AI or use guidelines. So it's on, and we have to make a disclosure statement too at the end saying of our paper saying that, we've used it. But given that too, the only thing I looked up was just like some ideas of implications of what I was researching. and it was just bullet points. And I'm like, yeah, I already got those like in my mind. And then I stopped using it because I don't want to have to put that on my paper.
Yeah.
Like, I just think that I've gained so much reward from just looking at my own things.
Definitely.
So I don't know. I definitely
that
see
knowledge is yours.
Right. It's like I created this,
Yeah.
not this other thing.
Yeah.
So when my mom started editing my papers when I was younger, I would get frustrated because I'm like, now it's not mine.
Yeah.
You're changing it. You're changing it. But I'm like, I really want this help, but like you're changing it and it's not mine, or the way you're saying it, you're trying to reword things. I'm like, no. That's
Right.
not mine.
Right.
So I think there's something intrinsically like satisfying about having it as your own.
Agreed.
So I don't know.
You would always have it in the back of your mind that it wasn't yours.
Yeah.
Always.
It's not truly yours.
Yeah. It's there's a level of appreciation and like this, you really accomplished something, right? Whereas this is just kind of in a lot of instances, it's just press the easy button.
Right. Did Notre Dame come out with, you said, a statement regarding this? Was it similar or different?
Yeah, it was kind of similar, but it was more like there's a big letter at the beginning of the academic year of, we realize AI is here. Here are some good use cases for using AI, and here are ones that will be unacceptable. You know, so it really laid it out, which was great. You know, but it gave some good. It was almost, they almost wanted you to view it as if you were just kind of bouncing things off of another person too.
Okay.
Which I love that. I think that's great. Hey, I'm thinking about doing a paper on this topic. You know, what would be a couple of ideas that you could think of that I could talk about, or I could flesh out for myself? Is more so.
Right.
How they want to see it used.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
I wanted to see, but yeah, definitely there's
Yeah.
a lot of value with doing it yourself.
There is.
That's one. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Stand behind that one.
And when for the church too, there's this AI that does help you create sermons and all these other things. So there's been a lot of discussions around where does this sit in the church, and how, you know, a lot of people are fearful, you know, are operating out of fear and just kind of reacting in that way. And that's kind of natural, right? Something that we don't know, we kind of fear. And however, I would say we need to invite the Holy Spirit into this conversation, right? If he's the author of truth, of life, this artificial intelligence life, if he allowed people to create this, then we need to talk about this, and we need to see, you know, what's acceptable, maybe what's not, as all things, right?
Yes.
Like, just look at your phone. What's acceptable, what's not acceptable with using your phone. It's no different. This is just, it just looks a little different. That's all.
That's true.
Now, some things can go really wrong. Google found that out this week. Late last week, early this week, there was a lot of going around. Some people were trying to get some prompts about ethnicities, because now there's this image generator that Google Gemini has put out. And so you could find certain ethnicities, but certain ethnicities, it would say, can't do that because that just perpetuates a stereotype. So, and it was inaccurately portraying, like, even founding fathers who maybe were one race and they would not show it as that race. They completely changed the race of the founding fathers.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's kind of insane.
Yeah. So it's almost this erasing of history and just saying, for the sake of not offending anybody, we're going to, but the silliness of that is it's going to offend somebody by doing that, right? And I mean, they got in so much trouble. They pulled Gemini down. It's not even available right now.
Wow.
And they've made big time apologies. And they even like asking Gemini, is something like pedophilia wrong? And it kind of said, well, it's, you know, it was like this, there needs to be more discussion on this. It wasn't like an outright, no, that's wrong. It was, this is a nuanced conversation.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I mean,
that's really not good.
And if that's what's forming people, then, I mean,
that's where it goes downhill.
100%. So they pulled it down. In fact, I saw an article yesterday that Google is now valuated $70 billion less since last week.
Wow.
$70 billion.
That's crazy.
Right? So, but the good news about that is that wakes up people a bit. It shakes them and says, whoa, there needs to be conversation here. We can't just let this run wild, and companies allow companies to shape our society. We've always been against that. Companies shouldn't shape our society,
Right.
Because they're in it for themselves. Society should be shaped, first of all, as we believe, by the Lord himself, right? And the tenets that he has given us, but also by the people.
Wow.
Right?
That is pretty insane. I didn't know about that fact. I'm glad that they took it down to remediate that problem. Hopefully, I don't know if it'll come back up. Do they?
Well, they said
talk
within
about
a
that?
couple of weeks, maybe a few weeks.
Okay.
Yep.
We'll have to see how it goes.
Oh, they will
after
be highly scrutinized. Don't
Oh, I'm
worry.
sure.
Yes. Once the story got
They'll
out,
know.
all the major,
yeah.
networks were like trying to use it and put prompts in to see what it would do and what it wouldn't.
that. Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
But that's good. I like that we didn't just say, oh well, no, hold on here. We have to fight for truth.
Right. I think everyone's desire is that initially, like in their hearts. So I think that hopefully one day it'll come into fruition with AI, and that it's good that I guess AI is not perfect. It's not, so hopefully it doesn't know morals. It's taught morals.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's a good thing to
For
consider.
now.
Yeah, for now.
Till AGI comes out,
What?
artificial general intelligence, where it
General.
thinks on its own.
Yeah.
It's not based on prompts given by engineers. It really starts to learn on its own and decide things on its own. And that is coming. AGI will come. When, that is way up in the air.
Right.
Some people believe it's soon. Other experts believe not in our lifetime. Here's the point of all of it, right? Is like, it's no different than any other obstacle we face in this world. Either we lean into the Lord or we don't. It's that simple. Either we lean into the Lord or we don't. Ultimately, we go to the Lord for our truth. We go to the Lord for answers. If I want to know what God thinks about me, I'm not going to ask AI. I'm going to ask him, right? I'm going to read his word. I'm not even going to ask AI to show me where, because I want to be able to find that for myself. I want to have that knowledge. I want to encounter the Lord in prayer. I want him to speak to me through that means, and that's my fear of what gets lost in using AI is we lose our capacity to think, pray, and live on our own through our own free will, which is the one thing God does not touch is our free will. He will never abuse that, touch it, make you do anything you don't want to do. Whereas my fear would be that not that AI would force it, but that we would become so dependent on it that it just becomes a natural part of what we do. I mean, think about your phone. It was never a natural part when you were growing up, but once you got one, now it's in your hand all the time.
Right.
You use it all the time. It's almost like you don't even have a choice in the matter anymore.
I would agree. I take it to every room I'm in. Like it's in obviously right in front of me because, it has notes, or it just always is. It's almost like an extension, but we're numb to it. Like I'm just numb to like moving it around where I am, in my back pocket, on the kitchen counter. Yeah.
Let's put it this way. Let's say somehow you were going to class or work and you forgot your phone at home and you're already 10 minutes away.
I'll be anxious. I'd probably go back and get
That's it right there. I would say the majority of people would turn right around and go back.
Yeah, it's almost like like with the amount of communication I do for school on it too, I feel like it becomes a necessity. My professors expect me to respond to things during the day. As I think that would be almost the weekday anxiety of making sure I have some communication for them.
Yeah. But if you think about it, what if you left your driver's license and you're 10 minutes away?
Some people are like, I'll be okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Way more people would be like, I'll just get it when I'm home.
Right. Even though
Rather
it's
than if it's your phone,
legality. Yeah.
that's something different. Now
So true.
that only took a decade to get to that spot, What about AI? If we start using it on a regular basis and then it just becomes a means to an end of everything. Well, I got to do this faster. How can I? Oh, that's how. Boom, boom, boom. So it's being cognizant of what it's doing to us subconsciously. Are we a slave to it? Because the ultimate thing is the Lord wants us to be free, right? Not a slave. And we can be a slave to things, right? Addictions, entertainment, even people, right? And this is no different than all of those things, right? It's this pull away from maybe sometimes what is true, what is beautiful, and what is good, to put this pull towards the earth, of earthly things. And we have to be ready to pull back. That's why I love this season of Lent. It is stripping us away of all that is unimportant.
Right. It's definitely a challenge. I was going to ask you, I guess, to conclude, like, how has your Lent been going? We know Rick gave up some coffee. So how has it been?
You can see I've got my tumbler right in front of me, this coffee tumbler full of ice water.
Oh, yeah. How's it felt going through Lent so far?
Yeah. I'll honestly say for the majority of the time, I don't even notice.
After the first few days?
Even the first few days.
Really?
I will say I had a headache on day 2, and I had a headache on day 4. I have not had a headache any other time. So that's been encouraging.
Hey, that's good.
But there have been times where I really desire something else to drink. I don't care what.
You're just like, something.
Just some flavor, please. And that's been hard. But that's been the beautiful part. When I feel that way, I just start praying and thanking the Lord that there'll be a day where I can have flavored stuff,
right.
or I will have flavored stuff. I drink a lot of water. And I do anyway, at the gym, at work, I do tend to drink quite a bit of water. But it's this fact that I can't have something else. There have been so many times where I've gone out to my garage to put the recycles away or something, and then my natural tendency would be to go over to the fridge to grab something flavored to drink. Be a flavored water, be a soda or whatever.
Right.
And that pull of wanting to go to that is but it's so good to feel that pull.
Right.
It makes me feel alive and like I have a choice. And when I persevere, when I push through that, it's like, okay, what else can I persevere through?
Right.
It's not like this, yeah, Rick, you did it. I used to be that way, but that's not what Lent's about. It's not this selfish mode of, look at me.
Right.
It's more like, no. Now what else can you do to look at Christ? What else can you get out of the way? What else can you choose to not have or have?
Right.
Right? Now, how about you? Oh boy. Remind everybody what you did.
So I kind of was sporadic with what I gave up this Lent. So I kind of chose a lot of things, and I realized I should have narrowed it down a little better. It was originally the big one is alcohol. Yeah. So I gave up alcohol. And then I kind of was like, okay. And also social media, and also online shopping. Also I kind of just tacked on a lot of things with it, which I don't know. I'm trying to find this moderation with everything. I think that's the goal of my Lent.
Yeah, good.
I think that has been a healthy mindset, because what I tend to go 0 to 100 real quick. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, then I'll go super extreme and be super scrupulous with everything, which is not healthy. And I'm trying to figure out how to find that balance. So I think I've been learning that. And then praying yesterday, I was kind of thinking of I think it was the gospel the other day, and it was the rich man with the purple robes and everything. And I think Lazarus was right outside his door, and he never gave anything obviously to him, and let the dogs lick the sores and everything. And just it brought me to a place of remembering charity, but it also gave me a really big question of how much do I give up? Ooh. How much is where do we find that balance of enjoyment in our lives and giving up things and sacrificing? How much should I sacrifice? Right. Which is, the answer is give everything to God. Of course. But when I can't spend 24 hours a day in the Adoration Chapel, how much time is almost this, how much should I give? How much time should I allocate? And I wonder if it's more of a heart posture of, what my heart desires and then what I should be doing. Yeah. But I want to carry it after Lent. That was my goal. So I'm wrestling with that question of how much should I carry. I mean, I'm going to try to carry some of this that I'm doing during Lent, obviously, to the rest of the year and onwards. But it's, how do I find a really good balance of sacrificing on an everyday basis that's kind of what I'm trying to, that's kind of my goal at the moment. Like, how can I be in that mindset of like at least like one thing every day, like make one sacrifice to God that maybe feels like that coffee, like reaching, or that soda reaching in the fridge, like, oh, like maybe just give up that for just one day, like after Lent. And then the next day you choose something else,
right?
Or you give charitably, so I'm trying to think of how to make it a very daily thing. So that's kind of my goal, and try to figure out like one thing every day that's a little different to give up. So that's kind of, it's a little more sporadic than what I usually do.
Sure.
But yeah. It's
You're switching it up a little bit.
A little bit.
That's fine. I once, maybe a good place to contemplate would be give till it hurts.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And all those things. How much do I give? Give till it hurts.
Right.
Right. If you're giving and it's not really pinching you, it's not really like making you go, ooh, then maybe just give that a little bit more until you go, ooh, okay.
Right. It's a good challenge.
It is.
It's a good sacrifice to God. And
well, I mean, that's a good, for instance, right? Go to the Adoration Chapel. How long should I stay in here? I mean, stay till it hurts. Right. I think that's a decent place to start and see where the Lord blesses you from that. I think monetarily, it's the same thing, right? Give till it hurts. I heard that phrase, and it's always stuck with me, and it's served me very well. So I would encourage people that maybe this Lent, give till it hurts in all ways, right? In our almsgiving, in our prayer time, in our donation of our time. Give till it hurts would be a good place for everybody to land in Lent, myself included, of course. Well, we are going to wrap this up. I know we started with AI and ended in Lent, but I think it all blends together very well. And we're excited about Easter. We want everybody to know that.
Yes.
We're very excited about Easter. We want
are.
it to be here, but at the same time, this beautiful season of Lent, embrace every day of it. Don't just wish for it to go by quickly, but rather instead live in each day. Right? I think that's a good place to end. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Good. Well, you guys, when it comes to AI, how about we also find this like Holly's Lent, where she's trying to figure out this balance. Let's all find a little bit of balance in AI as well. Do some research on it. Really, don't just live in fear. We have faith over fear, so let's live in that. Let's live in faith over fear, and let's find a good balance in all things in our life. Thanks so much for joining us. We look forward to seeing you next time on Happy Hour.